Cool.
Okay. Hey guys, so welcome to this impromptu call, somewhat impromptu, middle of the week call. I've got my great buddy Dave Ward on with us today. He's got some awesome perspectives to share. And I was watching a team call on his page he did the other day, and I was like, oh my God, this is just such relevant, super important info that I really feel hits, I think, every, not generation of coach, but every position a coach could find themselves in, regardless of rank, tenure, all that kind of stuff. There's coaches that are jamming, you're on the gas pedal, you're crushing it, life is great, that's fantastic, keep going. There's people who used to do that and they're kind of disengaged. They're maybe disconnected a bit or pulled back or just coasting. You get some people that said, oh, this is just a hobby now because I don't know, and they're just loosely, don't really even know why necessarily. And you get people that are new who, hey, I'm here, what's going on, what should I be doing? There's some different things in between. It's hard to generalize, but nonetheless, there's some really great stuff we want to talk about today. So just to give you a little bit about Dave, and this isn't about, I'm not going to tell you all the dirt and the stories and the epic thing, but we've been to like a dozen countries together and had some seriously amazing life experiences, to say the least. I would never know Dave had I not signed up as a freaking team Beachbody coach. So that's, to me, I'm a relationship guy, and I'll say this until I'm freaking not able to talk anymore, but you're not in the Beachbody business. You're not in the real estate business. You're not in the legal business. You're in the people business. So personal relationships are what makes this stuff go. So who's this guy, right? For those of you who don't know Dave and don't know all the fun stuff we've done, Dave's a 5-star, 20 elite, million club coach. Between he and Monica, they own 5 CBCs that collectively have 26 lifetime diamonds. He's helped Monica build her CBC to elite 6 times. They build together in spite of not being married. It's a really cool thing just to see people that just make it happen no matter what. And you've been a coach for what, 12 years, 11 years?
Since January 23rd of 2007. So
okay, yeah. So I just passed
11 years, yeah,
a month ago. Yep. So pretty wild to people. Oh, does this thing work? I'm like, my God, I've been doing this for a decade, a fourth of my life. Like, are you kidding me? Yeah, it works. It works really great. So I guess for me, I don't do too well when the ones that are disconnected without reason, a good reason, I kind of go, this works. It just works. We go through highs and lows, but I think a lot of people in this business never really experienced a low. And it's like, there's no straight line to success. The stock market doesn't only go up. Like, we all go through our stuff. And I think last maybe even 2 years, we're just kind of funky between digital switch over, different things, timing, Facebook's massive changes, political seasons. There was a lot of shifts that affected our front office every day. And our front office really is social media and Facebook. So anyway, there you go. Dave freaking Ward.
All right. Thank you.
I got my Bushwood Country Club t-shirt for you. It's
nice.
There you
go. Okay. Well, thanks, first of all, for the opportunity and the introduction. As Mike said, we've been friends for years and have been to a lot of really cool places, some of which I'll probably talk a little bit about today, just because I think they're relevant to the story that we're going to talk about, which is sort of what's the secret sauce. Mike and I have been around a long time, obviously. And what that means is that when you go to events, Summit or Leadership or the Success Club trip or wherever, people want to talk shop and they want to know, what's the secret? And they almost always tend to focus on the wrong things. They want to know how to run a Facebook ad or, what the perfect length for an Instagram story is, or it's minutia, and they don't focus on the real secret sauce in this business, which is what I want to talk to you about today. So in order to do that, I'm going to tell you a story, because I'm a little bit of a storyteller. I'm a cyclist, and this is the time of year when I start riding a lot. I'm a skier, and the ski season in my mind is there. Once the snow melts, I start to turn towards riding the bike. And last year, I started riding on a velodrome. So it's like a NASCAR track for bikes. And it's a blast. It's super hard, and it's a little dangerous, and it's awesome. It's super fun. But I also ride my road bike because I can't get on the track every day. Today is a track day because we have access to it. But when I don't, I ride my road bike. And when I ride from my house, there's a ride that I do every time. It's just not easy. It's a straightforward ride that I know like the back of my hand. I know every crack in the pavement. And it's a 10 miles out, 10 miles back, just a little 20 mile loop. It's flat and it's very exposed. You go right along the beach. It goes right past the hotel where we had leadership a couple of years in a row. And that ride, typically the regular normal thing on that ride is that as you ride down, it's downwind and you fly. I mean, I get down there 27, 28 minutes, typically got the wind at your back and you're just flying. Then we stop. There's a coffee shop where they have the best cold brew coffee ever. It's a couple of former Navy SEALs who have the best cold brew coffee. And you need a cup of this cold brew coffee because now you've got to turn around and you've got to go back and it's into the wind. And it sucks. It sucks because you have to work, way harder for much less in speed wise, right? Twice as hard for 2/3 of the speed. If I'm going 22, 23, 24 miles an hour with the wind at my back, I'm coming back going 15 miles an hour, but I'm working a lot harder because I'm going into the wind. It's just like riding uphill. I'm not a cyclist for 2/3 of the speed. If I'm going 22. We got echo. Where's that coming from?
That was my bad.
All right. If you're not a cyclist, the wind, you're like, wow, wind, no big. It's seriously like riding downhill, riding uphill. It's exactly the same, except harder because it's flat and it sucks because the wind is into you. And you're like, why is this so hard? It's just a flat road. If I was driving a car, I wouldn't even notice it, right? But when you're in a bike, you notice it. So last week, I went out to go do this ride because it's my day to go do my ride. And I brought it with me. I have my Action Sports kit on.
Yeah.
This is from Mike's brother's shop in Bakersfield. And I've been doing 2B Mindset since March 8th, and I've lost like 10 pounds, which means this thing actually fits me now.
Nice.
Because I was so sausaged into this thing that it was ridiculous. I was not going out in public like that. I have a whole new appreciation for women and like bikinis and cocktail dresses and why they get so worked up about that stuff. Because, man, you squeeze into a kit and don't look good in it, and right away it's like, oh, I need to.
It's like that saying, yoga pants don't lie, neither does Lycra.
That's right. Exactly. Like, that's what it is. Okay. Yeah. So I'm feeling all good about myself, and I get myself into my Action Sports kit, and I set out on this ride. And today the wind is blowing hard, but it's in the exact opposite direction. So, and this happens every, 1 out of 10 times you do this ride, you're like, oh my gosh, the wind is going the other way. What really changes the dynamics of the ride, right? Like it's a different deal. Normally on that ride, I'm kind of soft pedaling down because I know coming back is going to be super, super hard. So I want to conserve some energy, even though I know I got my cold brew. I want to conserve some energy for that second half of the ride because I know it's going to be hard. Well, when the wind is going the other way, man, I'm charging down to that coffee shop. I'm using everything I've got on the first part of the ride because I know the second part, I can just soft pedal and I'm just going to fly. The wind will just push me home. And I know that's going to be a much easier day because when I'm tired, I have the wind at my back. What changed? Just the wind. That's it. Yeah. The ride is exactly the same. It's the same mileage. It's the same piece of road. It's the same stupid crack that you got to watch out for. There's a curb here that is sketchy. None of that stuff changed. The only thing that changed was the direction of the wind. And that's the secret sauce in Beachbody. It's the wind. That's what it is. Sometimes the wind is in your face. Sometimes it's at your back. Okay. There are some people, and Mike kind of talked about this at the top, who only want to ride with the wind at their back. That's just not how the thing works. Okay. Because sometimes the wind is going to be in your face. And when it is, you're going to have to work twice as hard for half the reward. That's just
welcome to life. That's not just this business. That's everything.
That's everything. Okay. So I have a slide that I want to show you. We're going to do a little history lesson here. I don't normally use slides, and I really don't necessarily like speakers who slide people to death. But this one I think is worth showing you guys. So hold on. All right. Play. Let's see if that works. Just go full screen with that. And I don't use Keynote very often, so of course you're going to get the spinning wheel of death. because I have Excel open and a bunch of other things. Hey, it worked. All right. So this is a little chronology, basically, of our history. You know, that's what it is. This is our history right here. Company started in 1998 with Carl and John there on the beach, and Carl with his really bad hat on backwards. Then they started launching programs, you know, and they started, there you go. They started launching programs and they started creating stuff. I come into the picture here in 2003. The slide's a little deceptive. P90X wasn't actually launched until 2004. I came in, Monica bought Power 90 with VHS tapes of Power 90. And, you know, we just had our second child, needed to lose some weight. That seemed to make sense to me. It was like, okay, go down to the basement and work out half an hour. We both lost weight, did great. P90X came out. It beat the crap out of us, but we went through and we did it. And Monica got really engaged with the community and started building relationships with a lot of people online, which at the time I thought was crazy. I was practicing law and that's what I was going to do. And I thought this was all a little wacky, but what the hell? I didn't care. She was entertained and I had bigger fish to fry. We moved to 2007, and 2007 is when Team Beachbody started. I don't know what the official day we started is, but it was March of 2007. My actual sign-up date is January 23rd of 2007. So I was part of the pre-launch. Monica was one of the founders. I was invited to be a founder. I didn't go to that meeting. I thought this whole thing was just kind of whatever. This is just dumb. We're probably going to end up with a garage full of things. Every sort of thing that could spin around in your head about network marketing, I had. She was at the founders meeting. I was looking for lawyers to review the comp plan because I was sure this was a total scam. So we launched for business, and the wind is in our face, like from the get-go. Some of the people who were invited to be part of this company weren't great people, just to put it bluntly, and they're not around anymore. And we were called $1 Million Body. Now, when Monica asked me, would you rather introduce yourself as a lawyer or a $1 Million Body coach? I said, look, if you want to sign me up for that thing, go ahead, but I'm never going to do that. Okay. That's a horrible name, first of all. Yeah. Nobody knows your products. You don't have any brand recognition and you don't have any consumables because we didn't have Shakeology back then, right? All we had was recovery formula and like omega-3s and Activit. We didn't have any, like you don't have anything to sell. So if you want to go do that because your friends are all doing it and you don't want to get left out of the party, fine, go for it. I'm never going to do that. Let me fast forward to 2008. And 2008 was an interesting year to say the least. And this is one Mike knows all too well. September 15th of 2008, Lehman Brothers, one of the largest banks in the entire world, declared bankruptcy. And the world economy went into a total tailspin. We learned new terms like credit default swap and tranches. And we learned that people were bundling bad debt and selling it as if it was good debt. And that the whole economy was based on a bunch of lies. And my real estate development business went into the toilet. It was done. I knew it was dead. And I kind of had the choice of I can either rebuild this thing, which I don't like, and it's going to get loud here in a second. It's an F-18 flying over.
That's hilarious.
He's being nice about it, it seems, so it won't be too bad. There was one the other day, man. It just shook the whole house, and like car alarms went off. Anyway, I could either rebuild that business or do something else, and I decided I was going to do something else. I wasn't sure that Beachbody was going to be that thing, but it made sense to help Monica because she was doing well, build her business. I thought maybe I'd go teach or something, but I needed to get out of that and do something else. But there wasn't a lot of momentum at the time, right? And it was like, how do we do this thing? We don't have consumables. Online marketing was just kind of getting going. People didn't know what they were doing. And it was very sketchy and it seemed and awful. Like our neighbor, it was like there were 4 people within a year who lost their homes to foreclosure. And like you'd come home and their boat was getting towed away. I mean, it was just awful, awful time to just kind of be alive, much less try to start a business. But, we chugged along. Hold on. Advance. Hey, there it goes. So here's 2009. In 2009, everything changed. 2009, everything changed. I went to my first summit as a coach. I went to the first summit in 2008, but I just went for the party, and then we took off and we went to Hawaii on what is now the Success Club trip. At that summit, the world just changed for us. We launched two things. We launched Insanity and we launched Shakeology. All of a sudden, we had this new workout program with this new guy named Shaun T that people absolutely fell in love with. To this day, when I tell people about what I do, I tell them at first, I own a company that markets and distributes in-home fitness programs and supplements. If you've ever heard of P90X or Insanity, that's us. I don't remember the last time I've had somebody go, I've never heard of those.
Yeah.
Actually, I do remember the last time was when I met my fiance, and she had no idea what I was talking about. And I was like, I think I like you. You don't even know what I do. This is, you know, that's the last person. And that was 3 years ago. That was the last person I remember saying, oh, no, I've never heard of that. Everybody knows our products. In 2008, it wasn't that way. In 2009, that ship started to change. People started to recognize P90X. I actually had cycling jerseys that I put it on the back of my cycling jerseys. I would go on rides and people would ask me about it because everybody had heard of it by then. Part of that was Insanity. Then we had Shakeology. All of a sudden we had a consumable. Now we had something that was a great product that really, really worked. 2010 turns out to be the craziest year in my business, maybe for Mike as well.
Yeah, me too.
You know, that's the year we both were in the top 10.
Yeah, it was epic.
The Elite 10, and we ended up winning a trip to go cycling in the south of France. Why? What changed? Yeah, we had some new products, which was great. Those new products, what they did for us more than anything else, they generated momentum. They generated momentum and they put some wind at our back. And back then, this thing seemed easy. It seemed really easy. Then we kind of go through a couple of years where it's a little up and down. There were some people who left our company and went to other companies, and they weren't nice about it. They were actually really mean about it, and it was not cool, and it wasn't fun to be a coach. And some of them, you know, Mike mentioned being in the people business and the relationship business. Some of them were people I thought, oh my gosh, our kids are going to grow up and be best friends.
Yeah.
And they turned around and kind of stabbed us in the back. And that sucked, and it hurt. And the wind was in our face. That's what happened. It was hard. It was much harder mentally. Not physically. There's no difference physically, just mentally it was harder. And so you have to work harder when those things happen, right? Advance to 2014. And I remember just a quick story about this. There was a point, and I don't remember when it was, somewhere like 2012, where they changed the flavor of Shakeology.
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
Shakeology. And everybody hated it.
Yeah.
Everybody. It was awful.
That funky aftertaste.
The aftertaste was horrible.
Yeah.
And a bunch of people went, nah, I'm out. Later, wind's in our face now. I'm going away. My customers don't like this. I'm going away. Other people were like, hey, fix it. And corporate said, we'll fix it. And they did. And that you have, if you taste chocolate Shakeology, it tastes basically the same as the formula that we ultimately ended up with. But there was a 6-8 month period there where the wind was really in our faces. Okay. Then we fast forward to 2014 and the 21-day fix comes out. And I think my perception of it when we first were told about it was like, that's nice. Another trainer. That's cool. Like, it's good to have more trainers. You know, doesn't really do anything for me. Containers, whatever. Then that launch happened and it just knocked our socks off. They sold out the containers in less than a week. They were like, sorry, it's on back order. They're going, what?
Yeah, nobody in our business had ever heard the term back order before.
Yeah, you can't be on back order. What? Back order? And now I could use 21-day fix the way I use P90X and Insanity. That's the brand recognition that product gave us. The next couple of years, whoa, we were downwind, man. We were flying and business was growing like crazy and things were good. And even though I went through some personal struggles, this is around the time when Monica and I got divorced, even though all of that stuff was happening, the wind was at our backs, and man, it was just kind of keeping us going and keeping pushing us along, you know, and you didn't have to work as hard and you still got the reward. But everybody knew that tide was going to turn. In 2015, we launched Beachbody On Demand, made a change that we had to make. Okay, there was no choice but to go digital. But that change was difficult. All of a sudden, the business model changed a little bit. People weren't getting a box in the mail. It was different. The commission structures changed a little bit. A lot of the little business things changed that just had us turn around, and now we're riding into the wind again. And things got harder. Then we went to the annual all access, or don't call it all access anymore, the annual pass, whatever we're calling the annual subscription now. And we had a year where there really weren't a whole lot of renewals on club memberships.
Yeah.
From December 16 to December 17, when December 16 was when we launched all access, to December 17, there weren't any new renewals, weren't very many renewals on BOD memberships. The other thing that happened during that time in 17 is we completely overhauled our tech. Okay, so we went from an antiquated back office to a brand new, fancy, slick back office. We went from a shopping experience that was asinine. It was not good. If you were around, you know what I'm talking about. If you weren't, just imagine like one of the worst e-commerce sites whatever the worst one you've come across lately, that's what we had. Okay, it was bad. And to systems like Share a Cart, where I can just ask you like, what do you want and what is your email address? And I can create a customer account for you and send you a link with your order. And all you have to do is click on the link, enter your credit card, click OK, get your stuff. Now we have a world-class experience, right? Yeah. That wasn't fun. That tech rollover, I don't know if you've ever been through a tech rollover. I've been through a bunch of them. They always suck. They always suck. There's always something that you use that didn't get included in the new thing that is mind-boggling to you. Like, why wouldn't they include this? But they didn't include it because they just didn't know you used it, right? We went through all that stuff and just had the wind in our face. And that's when things were hard. It was hard when somebody wanted to buy something and they were struggling because maybe the cart was down, you know? It was hard when the thing didn't work the way it was supposed to, right?
Yeah, and then you had people that were vulnerable in that time, and so then other companies came in, and so that first thing that happened back in the day happened, multiple more times, and it's like, really, another, and you're just going.
That's a great point as well, right? Momentum killer, right? Yeah. Here we are, and it's like you're telling people, listen, we're riding into the wind right now, but I can guarantee you, just like I can guarantee that spring follows winter, that we are going to be downwind. You just got to stick it out. And some people said no. They said, nope, we're not sticking around for this. I'm going to go off and I'm going to sell ketones or wine or whatever. And they left.
Yeah.
Left. I've seen a lot of people leave, and not very many of those people who left are with the same company that they left for. There's a reason for that. There are reasons for that, and we don't need to get into that today. But those are momentum killers, and those are the days where you're like, oh man, do I really want to keep doing this? I'm struggling so much. We're just riding into the wind. Okay. Then we roll into 2018. 80-Day Obsession launches. It's another huge hit. Corporate figures a few things out, like the bundle packs that we had with all the supplements. Like, hey, here's a great idea. Let's start a group just for coaches. So you got to be a coach to get into the group. This slide has now lost its usefulness, so I'm going to get rid of it. Maybe. Go away. Where my mouse is not. Let's try that button. Hey, that button maybe is going to work. There we go.
So while you're doing that, just really quick. Yeah. So my dad, before he passed away, was an avid cyclist for a long, long time. I think when he retired, he drank as a hobby. Maybe he did that before as a hobby. But then one of my brother Carrie owns Action Sports. He got him somehow to switch bikes from booze to bikes. And he got sober, and he lived his last 20 years sober and rode his bike all the time. I mean, he was riding over 100 miles a week while he was in cancer treatments. Like, it was unbelievable. He only stopped riding because he couldn't sit on the seat. He had issues. He had some wire coming out of his body that wasn't supposed to. Like, it was bizarre what he went through. It was hell. Well, so his joke, every day I ever saw him, and here's my tough, old, bristly Marine of a dad who was in World War II, the Korean War, This guy's just tough, John Wayne kind of guy, but shorter than me. And he'd be coming around the corner in this rad red, white, and blue Action Sports kit on his $5,000 carbon bike. And the joke every day, there's a headwind going out and there was one coming back. Every day. I've heard it on every single ride. I don't think there's ever been a ride that he's not said that on. And it was just, and I think, maybe I didn't get it until right now. I always just thought, oh, that's his dry humor and he's just being funny. But I think there was a lesson in that I might have missed until just today. That but you don't stop. You need, like, he didn't stop that because he needed to be healthy. He did it for so many reasons. And I think a lot of people stop things when they're challenging, when they're hard. I know I have, and I don't know, maybe this is interesting. This is kind of hitting me.
Yeah, I mean, part of it is embrace the suck, is kind of the thing, is what we tell the like young Boy Scouts. We're out for their first, 4 or 5 mile hike with 20 pounds of crap on their back, and they're just bitching and moaning about it. And it's like, hey, this is the fun part. This is the fun part. This is wait till you're my age. This is fun.
I'll get it later.
Go through a divorce, then you can complain. Like, here we're out.
Come on, kid.
There is an element of that, right? And this brings us to where we're at now. We have world-class technology. We have all the tools we need. They just gave us another updated version of the introduction to Team Beachbody, a video that you can use to share our business. We launched 80-Day Obsession. It goes nuts, and it's great, and it works, and people love it. And then we just launched 2B Mindset. I mentioned I've been doing that program since March 8th. I'm a huge fan of it. I really like what I'm seeing. The last 2 weeks, sales and volume-wise, have been like it was in 2014. It's the only thing I can compare it to is the 21-day fix. We've never had a launch that looked like this. And even 2B Mindset, I think, is bigger. And I'm as surprised by that as I am about the 21-day fix, which shows you what I know. I mean, I've been doing this thing for 11 years, and I still don't know what's going to be sticky and what isn't. The thing about momentum is that, well, it's the secret sauce. It's really the hardest thing to try and create on your own. It's the hardest thing to try and create. And there's a lot of things you can do to try and create some momentum, especially when you're riding into the wind, right? You can come up with a great concept for a challenge group. And I see people and they'll do like, summer slim down. That's a really great sort of thing right now, right? We did 21 days of fitness and talked about the 21-day fix right before Christmas. Like,
keep going, I'll be right back.
Sure. One that like finished, right before Christmas. These little things you can do that will create momentum in your own personal business. Okay. Those are great. And those are things that you can do. And there's things like, team retreats and different incentives, and corporate does a lot of these little things. That's why there's a bobblehead for Success Club or a call or a t-shirt or a this or a that. All of that is designed to create momentum, and some of it creates some momentum. Okay. But those little things, the wind that I can create for my team, or Mike and your leaders can create for your team, is nothing compared to the wind that corporate can create. Corporate is like, this is like us going, trying to blow up a, sleeping pad or something. Corporate's wind is like a hurricane. Okay. And it doesn't happen that often that we hit this point where we have this hurricane at our back that's being generated by corporate, okay? Where the whole community of Beachbody's in a good mood right now, okay? What that means is you don't have people leaving and then turning around and going, yeah, Beachbody sucks. You're not going to see that for a while. You're not going to see that stuff for a while. And what it means is that people are more open and receptive to our message. Mike mentioned things like the election. I didn't even touch on that. Man, 2016, Facebook was a battleground. We're only starting to figure that out now about what actually happened and how, we had a bunch of Russians like making up lies and getting us to fight with each other. When people are fighting with each other, it's hard to go, hey, do you want to do this fitness program? You want to check it out?
You want to talk about something fun? They're like, F you, I'm going to fight with you.
Totally. Like, we're passing all that by, right? And we have corporate's big wind at our back right now. This is why things are easier right now. Things are easier. It's the same business. Same exact business, same exact thing that you do every day that I've been doing for I'd say since 2009, since that's when I really started as a coach. Same thing, building relationships with people, helping people achieve their goals, live healthier and more fulfilling lives, staying focused on that, and then teaching people how to do that same thing. It's the same exact business. It's just easier right now because we have the wind at our back. Now, how long is the wind going to be at our back? I don't know. I don't know. What I know is that when the wind is in my back, I'm not going to soft pedal.
No.
I'm going to ride like hell. I'm going to ride like hell because I know
cover more distance.
You can cover more distance.
Yeah,
exactly. I can cover more distance right now in the next 6 to 8 months of this business. I can cover more distance than I could in maybe a year and a half. During like a really tough time, like 2015, 16 with the BOD transition and the election and all that stuff, I can cover a year and a half, maybe more in 6 months.
Yeah.
6 months because the wind is at our back. Okay. It's the same business, same things going on. Guess what's better? My attitude.
Yeah.
My attitude's better because I wake up stoked to do this thing. I get messages from people who are having fun. I'm more engaged with my customers because I'm engaged with the program. I was telling my team the other day, if there's all these little things you can do to create momentum for yourself, like the Summer Slim Down and the 21 Days of Fitness or whatever. You want to create some momentum in your business? Lose 10 pounds. Get on a program. Start focusing. Show up every day. Gives you something to talk about. You start to talk about it more. All of a sudden, what do you know? Gaining some momentum. Okay, Monica would talk about this in terms of being in flow. That's the way she always talks about this, is that when you're in flow, everything is easy and everything just sort of unfolds in front of you, and you just kind of go, oh, well, and when something bad happens, you're like, yeah, I'm not gonna worry about that because I know that'll somehow work out, right? Yeah. And I've been in a situation, Mike knows all, I've been talking to Mike about it a lot, where I live in a rental home and my landlord just is really difficult to deal with. And it's been a struggle. And I've been looking for a new home, and it's an incredibly competitive market. I live right next to the F-18 you heard is landing at the largest naval air station on the West Coast. We're home to three super carriers. One of them just came home last week, which means there's a whole batch of new officers who are going to be bringing their family into town. They're all looking for the same size home I am. Oh my God. It freaked me out.
And you're on an island, dude. So it's not like there's that much.
There's a finite, and meanwhile, rent has gone up in the last 3 years that I've lived here. It's been like a super mentally challenging thing. All of a sudden, I did this call on Tuesday and I talked about this. I talked about momentum. I talked about belief. I talked about just understanding that the wind is always just going to turn around. Okay. And I talked about all that stuff. The next day, went and looked at a house. Made the guy there, we had all these people in common. Where we were just making contacts left and right. And or if you don't know, you should know that once you know people that person knows, you get a trust factor as long as they're good people, right? And it's like, that guy in jail, that doesn't work. But when it's like, oh, there's a guy from church, or in this case, Boy Scouts, or my Monica's parents who have an office right next to this guy, all of a sudden the trust factor goes up, and this guy's like, I like you, And we start connecting on all these other little grounds, okay? That's the type of stuff that happens when you just have some faith that the wind is going to turn around. I'm going to sign a lease on that home tomorrow. That's awesome. That's the type of stuff that happens when you just have the faith, you just have the belief, and you just go, I know what's going on right now is that I'm just pedaling in the wind, and it sucks. It sucks. But at some point, the wind is just going to turn around and be at my back, and it's going to blow me along. When that happens, just put out the same effort. Yeah. That's the thing. Just put out the same effort. Keep going. Don't soft pedal, and don't disengage. The wind is just the same thing. Like I would tell you, and it's kind of the bad news bears bummer news of the day is that things are great right now. Enjoy that. Have fun. Work hard. Cover a lot of ground while you can, but know that at some point that wind is coming back at us again. I don't know what that's going to look like. I have no clue. I just know that it's going to happen because it's what happens in life and business. Yeah. Is that the wind shifts. Don't let your business be a victim to that.
Right.
Instead, just understand that there's going to be times, man, when it's easy, go charge. This is what I'm telling my people right now is please, especially if you're new, go charge now because you can cover so much more ground over the next 6 to 8 months.
Yeah.
Could in 2015, 2016, when all of this other stuff is going on. And that's really the secret sauce of this thing. It's not about the perfect Facebook ad or, you know, a great email marketing campaign or you know, what your cover photo looks like on your Facebook page. It's not about that stuff. It's about understanding the dynamics of how things work. And that right now you have all the tools you need, and you have all the tools you need. We have the fitness programs, the nutrition program, and the supplement program to appeal to anybody who wants to work out. Now, if they don't want to work out, they don't want to get healthy, they don't want to learn how to eat right, you just, you know, you refuse. I was talking to a lady the other day, and she's like, I just can't stop eating pizza. I said, well, are you willing to learn how to make healthy pizza? I could show you how to make a cauliflower pizza. Would you, you know, would that work for you? Nope. I just can't. I refuse to give up pizza. I said, well, then your body is going to refuse to let go of that weight. I can't change that. You know, I can't change those things. But when I do find those people who are willing to change and willing to go for it, and I know I have a solution. I was just writing an email to a lady this morning, and I was typing it out, and I was like explaining, you know, that there's like 35 workouts in BOD, and one of them is for her. Probably more than one is for her. Yeah. And then I was like, and we just launched this new thing called 2B Mindset, which doesn't require you to work out. Exercise is extra credit. I've been doing it for a couple of months. I've lost 10 pounds. I feel great. You might want to check that out as well. And then in Shakeology, and I'm just typing this email out going, okay, today I'm going to be at the track. I don't have my other kit. I'm going to be at the track, and I joined a cycling club that's sponsored by Beachbody. So it's got a big Beachbody Performance logo on it. I'll be wearing that. Somebody's going to ask me about it. And I have samples of Energize. I have samples of Hydrate. We have something right now. We have something for everybody. And don't forget the beach bars. Like beach bars. So I'm super engaged in our Boy Scout troop, right? And we hike a lot. And people bring snacks. Guess what everybody's eating now? Beach bars. Yeah. I just took some extras on the last hike we did. I just took some extras. And I was like, hey, anybody want tasty bar? These kids, man, they were gobbling these things down. Right? And their dads are like, oh, that's really good. Where do I get that? I'm like, oh, I'll send you. What's your email? What's your email? That's the only question I need to ask. I'll send you a link. You just go put a cart together for them and send them a link. It's right here. Here you go. Yeah. People are drinking. People are eating the bars now. Why? Because right now there's no holes. There's nothing. There's no reason.
No, the bars and 2B Mindset rounded it out, man. Like the 2B Mindset deal, I don't think people really, I mean, if you're visionary, maybe you get it, but I don't think people are going to really grasp how significant that is for your business until later. Like right now it's the time to lean into that. And just one something I've been looking at lately, because I've had some adrenal fatigue. I'm like, man, this things feel like food sticks. It's weird.
Yep.
And I've been training, but nothing's changing, right? So I'm going, okay, food's the tuning, but I'm going, you know what? I haven't done the reset since last year. I'm looking at when am I going to do the reset again. And one of the great coaches on our team has a surgery coming up, and she's like, hey, I'm going to do the reset after the surgery. I said, you know what? I'm due to do this. Maybe I'll just do this with you. And of course, I went through the natural feelings. Like anybody that's done the reset, you tend to put it back on. And I never had a good exit strategy because I didn't want to stay vegan. For whatever reason, it just was – I always felt better, but I'm like, man, what am I doing? What needed something else? Things to change, something has to give. So I had to show up differently. Or I'm going to show up differently. So my plan on this is I'll do the reset with her, bring people along on that. I've done it before and had great results. So people, it's not a new thing I'm talking about. But then I'm going to use 2B Mindset as the exit strategy to maintain and cruise right on out and keep a nice healthy flow and finally have the something that, you know, I guess, I don't know, it's the right path to head out and keep on that successful path.
We've talked about it. Do you want to talk about it for a little bit? 2B Mindset?
Sure.
Yeah, sure. We can vamp on that for a sec.
You're in the test group. Yeah, please.
Yeah. So when I started, I got invited to the group, and I was kind of like, okay, this comes at a good time. I got my winter coat from ski season on. I think I single-handedly kept the eggnog business going. in December. I drank so much damn eggnog. It was just the most ridiculous thing. It's just stupid, right? Because you're just losing your mind. And like, my grandmother passed away right before Christmas, and it was just one of those things where it was like, I know, right? So I gain a weight, and I'm like, I don't want to carry all this around, man. I couldn't even wear. This is one of those T-shirts that's like, no, I'm not gonna wear. I haven't worn. This is like, you got T-shirts that are like mediums, they're not fitting, right? That doesn't feel good, right? So I get the invite to the test group, and I watch the first couple of videos, and I'm not gonna give a lot away here, but there's 2B Mindset is the two bunnies. They're cute little bunnies, and there's definitely a little bit of a cutesy thing going on here. But they're really simple. It's that you drink water before anything else. Before I have a coffee, I have a water. Before I eat anything, I have water, right? So water first. The next thing is most of your food is vegetables. And every meal they give you like a template for what that meal should look like. But every one of them, most of the meal, except for breakfast, every one of them is mostly vegetables, okay? So it's like, okay, water first, veggies most. The next thing is every morning you weigh yourself, okay? Every morning you get on the scale and weigh yourself. And people freak out about that until you start to see it go down.
Yeah.
And you go, oh, well, hey. I know now, after doing this for a couple of months, I know what I weigh. I know what I weigh. Like we got the news yesterday that we were going to get this house, and it's been such an emotional roller coaster. And my fiance is in wine sales, and she's like, oh, nice champagne, boop, nice Pinot Noir here, Burgundy, boop, and I was like, I got up this morning and I'm like, I'm probably going to gain a little weight today. And it was like up an eighth of a pound or something like that, because for dinner I had a massive salad and then a little bit of Thai food, massive salad, little bit of Thai food. Still had some wine, still enjoyed myself, had myself a nice night, but I just followed the rules of structuring my meal that way, right? Within the guidelines, pretty much. Then the last thing is that you track your food, you track what you're eating. And so what happens is when you weigh in, if the scale goes up or down, whatever you did yesterday had an impact on that. When you're weighing yourself every day, it's not like you're doing it once a week and you go, well, what happened on Tuesday? Because it's Saturday now, and maybe I had beer and pizza on Tuesday, but Wednesday was a really good day. And Thursday, I don't know. It's just like, you just look back at yesterday and you're like, yeah, am I surprised I gained an eighth of a pound today? No, I was kind of happy I didn't gain more. I could have gone off the rails last night, and just been like, screw it. I'm not going to have the salad. Just give me the Thai food. I want the curry and rice, right? But I just kind of stayed within the parameters, and I just gained a little bit of weight on a day that normally I'd wake up and really feel like crap, and I've gained weight and not feel good about it. The other thing about weighing yourself every day is that if you do that, and you have some accountability. Because what was happening for me is I was just getting up going, ugh, I feel like crap. Look in the mirror, you're like brushing your teeth, and you're like, I look like crap, and that's a great way to start your day, right? It's just not. The scale just gives you a little bit of accountability. Now you know. And you're going to get on it tomorrow. So that's how I eat the salad. When I order the food, I'm like, no, I need a big salad, because tomorrow I got to weigh in, and I don't want to gain 2-3 pounds. Because I'm trying to lose like another 7. This is the last 7. You get me down to 175. That's really good fighting weight. So sometimes I'll talk to people about those 4 things. The program's a little bit more complex than that. There's a huge education piece that's attached to it, especially for people who have struggled with any sort of emotional food related issues, and a lot of great advice about how to avoid beating yourself over the head with the hammer when the scale goes up a little bit, and how to really feel good. And when you make just a good choice of just like, hey, you won today because you had a lot of vegetables and you drank a lot of water, and maybe you exercised, maybe you didn't. That's not really a factor. So I'll tell people about the 4 things, right? And they'll go, well, that's just really easy. Why do I need to buy that program in order to do those 4 things? Why don't I just drink a ton of water, eat a lot of vegetables, weigh myself every morning, and track everything?
Yeah.
My answer is really simple. How's that working out?
Yeah.
How's that working for you? Like, is it working? Because if it's working, yeah, maybe this isn't the thing for you. Have you are you, are you athletic? Do you do sports? Like, because I got other stuff. I mean, this is not my only thing, right? I've got all this other stuff over here. I've got Shakeology. I've got the performance line. I've got the bars. I've got as hard a workout you want to do or as easy a workout as you want to do. I got other stuff to talk about. So maybe this isn't the thing you need, but just ask yourself, honestly, how's that working out? Is it working for you? Yes, it's simple, super simple. Are you doing it? I mean, are you doing it? Because it's pretty easy. It's pretty straightforward, but are you doing it? What this program gave me and got me to look at was I wasn't. Instead of reaching for, I buy these like bags of, it's like broccoli, carrots, cauliflower, and like snow peas. They're already cut and they're ready to go. You just open the bag, blah, 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 blah. Instead of reaching for that with some dipping sauce, like I use like bitchin' sauce. I don't know if you guys have that where you're at, but it's kind of like hummus, but it's made with almonds. It's awesome. Instead of reaching for the vegetables, I was reaching for crackers or chips. And that's my little snack. And that's just one little thing during the day. Instead of making myself a salad for a lunch, I make myself some tacos. I wasn't doing the thing. Did I know what to do? Yeah. I've been doing this for 11 years. I've helped people lose 100 pounds. I know what to do. I just wasn't doing the thing because I didn't have the structure. I just didn't have the structure in place. And that's what this program really gave me. And a lot of other little things of educational pieces about, here are some healthier choices you can make that are small little tweaks. Like instead of a sweet potato, I eat turnips now because sweet potatoes are super starchy and turnips just aren't. But you can make a lot of the same things with them, like fries. Turnip fries are awesome. So I guess that's my little spiel on 2B Mindset. If you're sort of like, I don't get it, what's that all about? I think some of the marketing from corporate has been a little bit of they don't want to tell you what those 4 things are because they do seem so easy that you don't even need to buy the program in order to get it. I'm telling you, those 4 rules are easy and they are simple, which is what I like about it. And it's flexible. So I don't know what I'm going to have for lunch today. I just know what plate's going to look like. I got to go see what's in the fridge. And if I don't have anything in the fridge, I might have to go buy a salad or something. But I know what that plate is going to look like because I just got it in my head now. So it is simple. And that's why it's effective because these rules are not complex, But
we never had something that was without exercise.
Right. We never had anything without.
We had the reset, but that was just a 3-week run. It's not what do you do for ever?
Yeah, and I think on your idea of sort of that marketing plan of going into the reset and transitioning into 2B Mindset, I think that's brilliant, man. That's one of the best things. That's maybe one of the great things that 2B Mindset will be is what's next, because I do think that's a thing with the reset. I know it's been a thing for me. Like as soon as I get off the reset, I'm like, I need wine.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, the other thing too is like, me, I mean, I've had so many freaking injuries and 8 surgeries from sports stuff, and I almost died 4 times in the last 3 years on bikes or snowboard or skis. And so I go through issues where I'm like physically incapable or really what the crux is, my back hurts so bad I can barely put my shoes on, but I'm supposed to work out. And then it's easy to get depressed or just, what, I'm pissed or screw it. I'm going to go about my day, or I intend to do it later today and then I don't get to it. And so I've been getting consistent. And so for the last few weeks, it's been great. I started with T25 and yoga and then got into max 30 because I'm like, I don't want to start too hard like I used to always do.
Yeah.
But my point, I guess where I'm going with this is that 2B Mindset can really be that catch-all for the times that somebody's either not training because of injury or not training. Like sometimes somebody finishes P90X and they're like, dude, my joints need a break. I need, not just give me a month or give me something easy, or I'm just sore. I remember when I was in the max 30 test group, month 1 was my jam. Month 2 killed me. And Sean told me he was in that group because of Todd Bidget. And Sean just goes, look, Mike Hughes, if you don't really nail the food spot on, you don't have enough in the gas tank to even do that second month. It's just too hard. It takes so much out of you. And I was trying to snowboard at the same time. Like it was just futile. But I didn't know. You don't know what you don't know. So anyway, I think it's just really cool that we have something that people can have for whatever reason they're not working out, whether they don't want to or they're incapable of it or whatever. Now we actually have something that, because I think Shakeology's been billboarded as something it's not for a long time. Like it's this magic cure-all to things where it's just something really smart to have in your system every day. It's the great gap filler. It does so many things, but it's not going to make your kid sprout wings and fly away. Like you still have to make it through the rest of your day. And so anyway, I don't know. The whole wind at your back thing, when you talked about that the other day in your team page, I'm like, oh my God, that's such a brilliant metaphor for what we're doing, or simile for what we're doing, because we're in it right now, and it's either up to you to pass your sail or not, to get in there and pedal or not. And nobody can do it for you. You can only do it for yourself. So
yeah, and I think the way you described it is, right now you can just cover more ground. You got the wind at your back, man. I mean, that 10-mile ride I described, usually when it's downwind, either way, it doesn't matter which way the wind's blowing. It's 27, 28 minutes. Last 2 weeks ago, I did it. It took me 42 minutes to get home. I went down there in like 27, and it took me 42 minutes to get home. Same distance.
Wow.
Same distance. It was just really hard, right? You can cover more distance right now. And it's just such a great time to dig in and build and grow a team. I'm working with a couple of coaches now who are doing that, and they're really like focused, and they've been coaches for a couple of years. And, all of a sudden their teams are starting to grow. People are starting to join them. The concept of we're going to have a test group that's just for coaches is brilliant, right? That 80-day obsession, a couple of people joined. Now here we are at 2B Mindset. Right? And I've got people, actually, we just re-signed somebody who was a coach on our team. She went through a divorce and a lot of life changes, just gave it up, wasn't for her, but stayed close to us and was like, I just want to be a customer. Fine. I'm talking to her about it. And I'm like, there's a group, you just need to be a coach again, but here's the price and you get a discount. And she remembered all that. And she's like, yeah, let's do that. Right.
Sure.
Downwind, like, here we go.
No brainer.
You look at your Success Club points and it's like, oh, I guess I got Success Club done for May on the 10th. Good. In 2 business centers. Thanks. Like, all right, cool. What's next? Right. What's next? And what's next, I think, is just continuing to put your head down and charge, and have fun with it now. I really have fun with it. This is when this business gets fun. And, when you have an opportunity to really build great relationships with people. And, Mike touched on it at the beginning of this call. I wouldn't know Mike if I hadn't got involved with this crazy $1 million body thing and just dug in. And, I wouldn't know Mike, honestly, not beyond Beachbody. I wouldn't know Mike if the economy hadn't fallen apart. Yeah. If what at the time seemed to be the most disastrous thing that ever happened in my life.
Oh, likewise. Yeah.
If that hadn't happened, we would not be on this call right now, because I'd probably still be practicing law. And might probably still be, engaged in real estate, because there was no need to go do this thing. Well, what happened? Something bad that turned into something really, really great, because we just stuck around. We just stuck around. When the wind comes in your face, all right, here we go. It's like, all right, embrace the suck. Here we go. We're going to get through this. And at some point, the wind will turn around and be at our backs. And here we are.
It's funny how the whole one door closes, another one opens thing. The other day I read something somewhere and they said, the real issue is that so many people, as the door closed, they can't see the one that opened because they're turned around backwards looking back at the one that closed. They're just staring at the past and they're lost in it. And it's like, bless and release, make peace with your past and just let it go. Because seriously, as bad as that market crash was, losing our houses, our cars, the rentals, the business, the everything, it was insane. I went through bankruptcy. That was crazy. And to see where, I guess just where I am today, I'm going, it was one of the best things that ever happened to me, because I can't believe what I've learned. I can't believe the growth mindset I'm in now that I wasn't then. I thought I was, but I wasn't. That was worse than not being in one. I thought I was in one and I wasn't. And then to, everybody we've met through this thing, seriously, it's ridiculous. It's I don't know. It's
100%. 100%, dude. It's the same thing. Like, going through divorce, that sucked. It wasn't fun. It was awful.
Yeah.
It was awful. But the outcome of that is I'm just a way better father. I'm just a way better father now, because they're with me half the time. And when they're with me, it's on me. It's on me. And it's on me to build my relationships with them in the time that I have. And I'm not sure that I would have gotten there, otherwise. Maybe, I don't know. You can't really predict what may have happened if things were different. I just know that, like, I'm a much better father to my kids because of all that stuff.
Sure.
And that, that wasn't fun, but, there was going to be another door that opened, and things were going to change, and that things were going to get better, and they have. And a couple tough years. Okay, great. But don't walk away. Don't
Yeah.
walk away because the wind's in your face.
Yeah.
You just stop pedaling. Keep going.
But it's great that you're bringing this up and I'm bringing this up because, I mean, just sharing vulnerably and authentically like that, because you've seen it as much as I've seen it. You've probably seen it more because your team's bigger than mine, as how many people life happens. I was going to say life hits them. Life happens. And then this seems to be one of those things that people just stop. I'm going, oh my gosh, did you keep going that dead end job? That seriously, your job will be posted in the newspaper before your obituary is. Wow. How does that not just wake you up? I mean, seriously, how does it not wake you up? I don't know. I mean, this growth mindset, what we encourage and cultivate in this business, and I've been doing some outside consulting. Like I have friends since I moved back to Bakersfield, I have friends that own companies. They're going, hey, you're doing all this leadership stuff. I've been watching you for years. Will you come speak to my group? I'm like, yeah, sure. And so I just started doing this. And then other friends, hey, I heard you spoke to so-and-so's company. Can you come to mine? And so I've been doing this deal. And yesterday I did this kind of in the beginning of this workshop for this huge car dealership that has many hundreds of employees. And they're the best. Their numbers are through the roof. And the weirdest thing to me is that, let's say I had in the team that I had, and let's say there were 100 people in the room that day. I go, who in here is reading anything? Who's doing anything with growth, podcasts, audiobooks, anything like that? I seriously, I didn't really even know how to handle myself after that. I had 2 people put their hands up. I'm like, and you guys are the best in town. Okay. And they were like, look at me. I'm going, you guys have no idea how much room you have to grow and get better. You think this is the best you can do. And seriously, this is the law of the lid. If you think this is the best you can do, some of you are going to trust me and some of you aren't. The ones that trust me and get it and are open to this growth mindset, you're going to see the gains. And it's going to be like when we went through 2009 and 10 and went up 500% business. Why? Because we embraced a growth mindset, duplicatable system, things that worked, and we leveraged that.
Yep.
Like we have it again today. Nothing's changed.
Right. And I'll tell you, like, you have to learn, you have to discipline your mind to get excited about adversity. You have to discipline your mind, because what you have to understand is that's where the opportunity is.
Yeah.
Like a great example. So Lance Armstrong, our good buddy Lance. Lance has a podcast now that I'm pretty much glued to. And he was telling a story about one year he did this race called Milan San Remo. And Milan San Remo is like a really long, pretty flat, but just long. It's like 230 kilometers, long race. And he said, we got to the start line and it started to rain. And one of his teammates was like, oh man, this is gonna suck. And Lance looked at him and said, yep. And guess what? Over half the guys in the field just said the same thing. They're done. We just cut the field in half. Because when it sucks, less people do it. There's more opportunity. There's more room. Yeah. Okay. Here's another little prediction, right? Everything repeats. Everything.
Yeah.
In this market, the market that we're in, the environmental climate, the economic climate that we're in, is a little too happy. And people are making some bad choices, just like they did in 2008. They're getting over leveraged. Oh, yeah. They're making some mistakes. People are forgetting about 10 years ago, because it's 10 years ago, right? People are forgetting about it. Something's going to happen again. Yeah. I don't know what. I don't know when. I don't know how. I don't know what it looks like. I don't know if it's disastrous or just a speed bump. I don't know. What I know is that when that happens, there's going to be a short period of time where it's really going to suck. And then our business is going to explode. Yeah. Because people like Mike and I, who have careers doing other stuff that we're successful at, are going to look for something else because that career dies. And now you got to go do something else. Now you got a guy who's an accountant or a lawyer or a doctor or somebody who maybe wouldn't otherwise consider a business like this, but is a smart, hardworking guy who understands the realities of life. Those people are going to come into our business and this thing is going to skyrocket. That's what's going to happen. Now, if when that happens, you look at Beachbody and go, oh, well, that's going to die too. You're making a huge mistake. You're making a huge mistake. You should be licking your chops and understand that when the wind is in somebody else's face, it's at our back. Yeah. You have to discipline your mind to enjoy adversity and understand that that's where the opportunity is. That's when there's a chance, because things suck and because half the people just give up. Those are the easiest years to do things like qualify for elite. If you're willing to work hard, you're going to need to pedal twice as hard. That's just the reality of the commonality, but there's less people racing with you because a lot of people just go, "Yeah, this is too hard." All people want to do on Facebook is fight with each other. Okay, fine, great. See you at the end of the year.
It's unbelievable how bad that perspective is. And what's interesting is that, statistically, historically speaking, there's a market crash of some significance every 7 to 8 years. And the only reason that we're 10 years out on this one is that's the only one that's ever had the bailout, as you know how all that happened and everything else. Otherwise, it would have been worse than the Great Depression because it would have brought down countries. Well, it basically did. But the fact that we built such a monumental business in the worst economic time in world history, that's a significant thing. So what you're saying is 100% spot on. And then the only reason the delay is delayed, like you're right. People are like, oh, it's too good right now. Everything's so easy. I don't need money. I don't need another opportunity. I'm good. I've got this. And they have this well-rehearsed story. It's just bullshit of why they don't need something. And you're right. As soon as it gets tough, and then when they find themselves irrelevant, they're out. When I was sitting there at the car place yesterday, and I go, look, I said, for everybody who's making six figures, I go, what would just happen, just hypothetically, what happens tomorrow if your job is gone? That, how much harder it is to replace a six-figure job than to replace a job making 40 grand a year? I can be a waiter, make 40 grand a year with good attitude, or get in a good restaurant and no problem.
Oh, you can make 50.
Right. You can make 50 too. So anyway, I think people you and I have that perspective, and I think that's the benefit of having been in business for ourselves before. And, when you talked about the dad aspect of this and you get to the why, the spark of what really ignites a person, why are you doing this? Why are you doing this? Seriously, you guys, why are you doing this? And when we say money's not the why, money's the result, I wanted schedule. More than money, I wanted my schedule. I wanted to be able to go out that door whenever the hell I want to go out that door, ride my bike when I want to, do all the fun stuff with my kids. And I'm not out there trying to be the greatest dad in the world for anybody else except my kids. I want to be there, and I'm there, and it's not negotiable. And it's like people are like, hey, can you meet here? Not in that time zone, And if you're close enough with me, and I trust you, and I like you, and it's going to be good. Like Ben Walkaway, who's on this call, Ben's been to the park with me and the kids and thrown the ball around the Frisbee and partake. That's great. That be in my circle of trust. Your inner circle is going to define who you are. That's, you show me your 5 friends, I'll show you your future thing. And it's funny because I've been going through, I've got 14 different books on 2 tables that I've just been immersing myself in. I've just been scrapping and searching for there are these pieces to the puzzle that's like you're looking for those last ones. And it's so great to go back through some of these things, like John C. Maxwell's 21 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership. And you've hit on many of those things in this call today without necessarily having any of that as an agenda whatsoever. Yeah. But like one of them, that law of momentum, protect the big mo. You've got to protect your momentum at all freaking costs, you guys. And it sucks when we've lost our steam to have to get it back, because you've got to get back. It's no different than getting on the bike. If I want to go ride with Dave right now, and he's been doing all this riding for 6 months, you've been doing it for more, but let's just say it's 6 months you've been consistent, and I haven't, it's going to suck for a while. And I know, just from what I know about cycling, if it's going to be on the road, I'm going to have to go on the days you're doing a small chainring ride to be able to keep up. And it's going to be like that for a while. And I'm going to have to build. I'm going to have to work hard. I'm going to have to do some extra training. I'm going to have to do everything right so that within a few weeks, 3-4 weeks, maybe I can start to keep up and be able to hang. It might hurt me, but you build through that process, and you work your freaking ass off to get to do what you really want to go do. Because if I can go share time with him on a bike, you know how priceless that is? The conversations, the life, the love, the camaraderie, the lessons, the growth that comes out of something like that, it's priceless. So you can put that against anything else you want in the world. I don't care if you, like, we're in an online cooking course with Thomas Keller, the #1 American Michelin-rated chef, here living. And I can't imagine if I showed up to one of his restaurants in Napa or Vegas or New York, and he was there, I wouldn't sound like an idiot. I could actually go in the kitchen and have a good conversation with him because I've been immersed in learning his stuff, his language, his tips, the crap to get rid of in your kitchen, all these different things. And it's been fantastic. And what's really interesting is that's been a connection piece, just coming up in conversation with people. When, that innocuous greeting of, hey, what have you been up to? Hey, how are you doing? I'm like, oh, I've been in this cooking class with my kids. It's been amazing. Nobody's in a cooking class with their kids. As I found out, there's not a single other person. So it provokes a really interesting conversation. I'm like, yeah, and I know what I'm doing. And I know that I'm doing something different because I'm different. And maybe it's a leader. Maybe it's just, I don't know, just bucking the system. Maybe it's just really because I wanted to do something awesome with my kids. I want them to know more than Pythagorean theory. I want them to know finances and love and life and how to think for themselves. and how to cook. And yesterday when I was at that meeting, the first time ever, Connor cooks by himself. He made eggs. He made lunch for him. He made lunch for Torin. I'm like, this was unbelievable. No issues. He's like, Dad, and the eggs came out great. He goes, they were the perfect consistency. And he's telling me about them, and he's proud of himself. And I'm like, dude, this is the greatest. This is just one of those cool things. And it's because we're different, because we have the time to take. I wouldn't have that story. I wouldn't have this experience. I wouldn't have kids with that kind of depth. And I'm not talking about depth just because they can make some eggs. There's depth that I'm not talking about here. Had I not been a coach, had I not had the intent to, when the market crashed, I need to stay self-employed. You might be coming at this from a different position of, I've been employed, I've been an employee. Be the best employee-preneur you can be. View that job as the gift that it is, that it's buying you time to build your side hustle to where you want it to be. You don't have to leave the job. You can make $45,000 a year for the rest of your life, and you could come out retirement owning 6, 10, 20 houses free and clear if you did things right. You learn how to make your capital needs to make capital. There are these things. And so who's having these conversations with you? And when I say who's in your inner circle, show me your 5 friends, share your future, the benefit you have of being involved in this team, the recruiting angle that I would be talking about with people is like, man, you have no idea the people that you get to be introduced to because of this business. This is unbelievable. If you just did it for the connections, the connections don't happen magically or just because you signed up. You got to get in and get involved. But all I'm saying is, I don't know. All I know is it's worth it, you guys. And if you have that conversation with 100 people, 30 are going to say yes. 10 are going to be your loyal people for the rest of your life. 10 are going to quit. 10 will be discount people, and you're set. Like, it doesn't take a lot of people to make a lot of money in this business. Duplicate that. So anyway.
Yeah. That's the deal, right?
There you go. In a nutshell.
In a nutshell, and right now it's just easier. It's all.
It is.
It's the same thing. It's the same thing. It's just a little bit easier because everybody's got a smile on their face. Everybody's enjoying what they're doing. We're all having a good time. We get to do calls like this instead of, calls with, whatever compliance or, like you get to do stuff like this. And it's
right.
And that it gets me excited, and when I'm excited, that energy is just contagious and it just all carries over. And here we are. And don't miss it is what main thing I want to tell you. Don't miss it.
Yeah.
Don't miss it because you can just cover more ground now.
Yeah.
It's that simple.
Getting fun again. So
thank you so much.
I really appreciate your time.
For
your insights. Thank you for your friendship. I just thank you for all this, really sincerely. So have a great day. Congratulations on your new deals. And you guys just take the Q&A to the page, and I'll be happy to get to everybody today.
Thanks, brother. I'm in there too. So if you guys have questions, just let me know. I'm happy to answer any.
Awesome.
All right, guys. Later.
Woo!